first glance, a missile silo might seem straightforward, an underground bunker built to house and launch missiles. But what if I told you those silos are like hidden fortresses, carefully engineered to endure anything from enemy strikes to the passage of time itself? Inside, they're a world of their own, guarded by top-tier security, with teams that live and breathe this responsibility. So, what does it take to build and maintain the kind of power that can protect nations or, in the wrong hands, threaten the entire world? To understand the full scope of these silos, it is important for us to look at their place within the broader U.S. defense system. With massive resources and fueled by one of the largest defense budgets the world has ever seen, America has ensured that its nuclear capabilities are second to none. Scattered across the northern plains of Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota lie some of the most strategically placed silos in the world. It may look like just unremarkable stretches of countryside to you, but they conceal a network of launch sites that, when viewed from above, form the backbone of America's nuclear deterrent. In fact, the U.S. Air Force maintains over 400 of these Minuteman III missile silos, each one part of a larger network of nuclear defense. The utter size and scope of the network is mind-blowing. But what's even more surprising is that the general locations aren't a secret. You can pretty much Google it as though you're searching for an ice cream shop, and they'll pop up, just like that. But why is that? Well, just because these missile silos are easy to find on a map doesn't mean getting near one is remotely possible. Imagine trying to break into the vault at the Bank of America. Not likely, right? The same goes for these silos. Unless you've got proper clearance, forget about it. Each facility is protected by layers upon layers of security, armed patrols, high-tech surveillance, and sensors so sensitive they might as well monitor the wind itself. It's the kind of fortress even Hollywood heist teams would struggle to crack. Now, think about the tension inside. How do people work in such a high-stakes environment where a single wrong move could trigger global catastrophe? It's mind-blowing, right? But these aren't your everyday officers. The men and women who man these silos are highly trained professionals, prepared for situations most of us can't even imagine. They work with steady hands, knowing that the flip of a switch could wipe out entire cities. Yet they remain calm and focused. But that raises an even bigger question. What happens when they actually get the order to launch? How does that even work in today's world, where nuclear warfare feels more like a Cold War relic than a 21st century reality? Beneath the surface, the officers have one simple mission. When the signal comes, you press the button. And the consequences of that one single action? Unimaginable. If pressing that button is so significant, what is stopping any random John Smith with dreams of ending the world making a break for it? Well, fortunately for all of us, it really isn't that simple. To get inside a Minuteman missile silo, you first need to pass through the Missile Alert Facility, or MAF. This is the above-ground support building that blends into the landscape. At first glance, the MAF looks pretty basic. It's a small, low-profile structure, not much different from a regular office building. But beneath the boring paved gravel lies an insanely secured bunker. First, let's start with the silo itself, which is more than just a hole in the ground. Each Minuteman silo is a launch facility that descends about 80 feet into the earth with thick 5 to 8 feet steel-reinforced walls. But even if we look beyond the thick concrete, the layout of the silo is just as impressive. As you descend into the Launch Control Center, or for short, LCC, the sense of isolation hits hard. You're entering a world where time stands still. The blast doors, weighing 8 tons, are the first hint of the silo's true purpose, which is survival at any cost. These doors can withstand the unimaginable force of a nuclear blast, as if they're saying, even if the world falls apart above, down here, we remain. The LCC itself is lined with, you guessed it, steel and concrete. and houses all the equipment needed to communicate with the higher chain of command and other missile sites. 2 missile officers sit at their stations, always on alert and always prepared for the worst. They are isolated from the outside world in what can only be described as a high-pressure environment. Every blink of a light or sound of a beep is a reminder that they are controlling some of the deadliest weapons ever created. And let's not forget the missile itself, the Minuteman III. Over 60 feet tall, this missile stands ready, locked inside its launch tube. It's an impressive feat of engineering and a daunting reminder of the world's security at stake. Buried beneath tons of concrete and steel, it waits, silent, lethal, and capable of reaching its target in under 30 minutes. But while the structure is formidable, what about the people inside? Life inside the missile is unlike anything most of us will ever experience. These officers don't just work regular shifts, they live there. Missile officers typically work 24-hour shifts, while security teams are on duty for 96 hours straight. This is an environment with no room for mistakes. Just how intense is the pressure? Well, the officers undergo rigorous psychological evaluations to handle the gravity of their jobs. Imagine being one of the few people on Earth with your finger on a literal nuclear button. A button in which you hope to never be ordered to press. That responsibility can weigh heavily, and as such, they're trained in how to deal with the extreme stress that comes with holding the fate of millions in their hands. To pass the time, the facilities are equipped with small comforts like ping pong tables, gyms, and even TV rooms. It might sound boring, but when you've been underground for 24-hour shifts, those small distractions are crucial for maintaining mental balance. Yet, despite the strength of these facilities, there is a lingering question. Can this Cold War-era technology truly stand up to modern threats? After all, the world today is way different from the one these silos were originally built to defend against. When the Minuteman silos were first built, they represented the height of Cold War-era defense technology, ensuring that even in the event of a surprise attack, America could retaliate with overwhelming force. But decades later, the world has changed, and so has the technology of warfare. Today's intercontinental ballistic missiles, or short ICBMs, from countries like Russia and China are far more advanced, with greater precision and destructive power from anything from the 1970s. These modern weapons have raised concerns about whether the silos, designed to withstand the threats of their time, could survive a direct hit from these newer missiles. While these silos are spread out across thousands of miles, giving the U.S. some sort of reaction time advantage, the reality is that the world's missile technology has advanced to a point where no defense can be considered truly impenetrable. And that's not all. Today's threats aren't even coming from rival countries with nuclear weapons. The rise of cyber warfare and drone technology introduces new concerns that the designers of the Minuteman silos could have never predicted. Like, what happens if someone manages to hack into the system? What if drones are deployed to strike with pinpoint accuracy? These are questions that the U.S. military is now grappling with. So the next logical question is, what is being done to address these concerns? And how is the U.S. maintaining its nuclear strength in the face of adversity? But to truly understand the answer to this, we must take a closer look at the missiles themselves. After all, no matter how well defended the silos are, they're only as good as the weapons inside them. The Minuteman III missile has been the backbone of America's nuclear arsenal since the early 1970s. If you take a look here, the missile sits on a massive suspension system, which allows it to absorb shock waves and vibrations in case of an attack. This way, the missile is still operational, even if an explosion happens close by. But how is it that they've been able to keep a missile from the Cold War era functional for not 1, 2, or even 10 years, but over 5 decades? The answer lies in rigorous testing and maintenance. The Air Force regularly pulls missiles from the silos at random, removes their nuclear warheads, and launches them to remote testing ranges in the Pacific Ocean. Those poor fish. And although they may shock crabs out of their shells, these tests are crucial, ensuring that the missiles remain reliable and that, if the worst were to happen, they would do their job. It's important to note that despite their age, the Minuteman III missiles are still considered one of the most reliable components of the U.S. nuclear triad. But, like everything else, they won't last forever. The technology is showing its age, and while it's been updated over the years, there is a reason the U.S. is investing in a replacement system. As global tensions rise, you may ask whether these missiles are enough, even now. Maintaining old technology can only go so far. So what comes next? Behind the times and finally catching up, the U.S. government is looking ahead to the future. The Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent, or GBSD for short, is the United States military's next-generation intercontinental ballistic missile system, set to replace the aging Minuteman III missiles. Designed with advanced technology, the GBSD enhances cybersecurity, ensuring resilience against modern digital and physical threats. It offers greater flexibility and responsiveness, integrating seamlessly with the broader nuclear triad of land, sea, and air-based forces. Built to last over 50 years, the GBSD features a modular design that simplifies maintenance and future upgrades, addressing the obsolescence challenges faced by the Minuteman III. With an estimated cost of $264 billion, the GBSD program aims to be fully operational by the 2030s, securing America's nuclear deterrent and maintaining strategic stability in an increasingly complex global security environment. But as we close this chapter on Minuteman III silos, you may ask if these Cold War-era relics still matter in the modern world. For now, these silos still play a crucial role in maintaining global peace. But with new technologies on the horizon, and with the emergence of artificial intelligence, we are left to wonder, how long will that peace last? Bye for now.